I'm just going to quickly check we've gone live. Yes. So hello everyone, this is Naz from SG1 Radio, and today I'm going to be in conversation with Jay from Peartree Babies and Mum Rhyme Time. So Jay, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
And I understand that you've got some very interesting online classes which are going to begin from 17th July. So
yeah, this Friday.
Yes, that's not long to go.
No, I know. It's getting...
And you've got the lion teddy
I
bear.
have. I thought it wouldn't be the same if I didn't have him here. It's not really appealing. I'm probably not as appealing as he is. So yeah, I had to bring him along. So this is Ryan the lion. Yes, he's
Ryan
here.
the lion, fantastic. So before we begin with the questions, I'm just going to quickly share this video with our connections and viewers if you have tuned in. And if this video is of your interest, then please feel free to share. And also drop any comments if you'd like me to ask anything to Jay of your interest, please do, because Jay is setting up these really fantastic online classes available for everyone. And I am really, really interested to know more about it. And I'm sure you all are too. So I'm just going to quickly, not long to go, just leave you there. But how are you doing, Jay?
I'm doing really well. I was planning on doing this in the garden, but the light factor wasn't doing great. So I thought, I'll have to sit inside. Although that's probably a good thing, because knowing my luck, I'll be attacked by a swarm of bees and I'd look really silly doing all of this. Because if anybody that knows me, I'm a screamer. So this is better indoors. So I've stuck it indoors. But no, good otherwise, thank you.
I was going to do it in the garden as well, but you're right with the light factor as well. Because once I did live session and the light factor, it just doesn't shine as well.
You and can't see anything.
Exactly. And in the background, I also had like, because we have a pond in the garden, so we had like birds coming in, like bathing themselves in the pond, and I was like, oh my god, this is making so much sense.
That's lovely, but for me it would be, I'd see a bee or something and I'd be going and running away, and yeah, anyone that knows me that knows that I'd probably run off and you wouldn't see me for the rest of the session. So no, it would be better indoors.
Oh gosh, yeah. So yeah, I think indoors has been quite good. This is like the room where I get a lot of light to come in. So I try to use this room for interviews. But yes, are you ready to begin?
I am. Ask away.
Yes, you're being involved with a project run by Welwyn Hatfield Borough Council to support the local community, and it's a Babies and Mum Rhyme Time with online interactive classes via Zoom, starting from Friday, 17th July. Can you please tell us a bit more about this?
Yeah, so this initiative, the original project, has been in the pipeline now for a couple of years. And when I was first approached, I wasn't in a position where I was able to help running, and it had a lot to do with the funding as well. So the funding hadn't been received. It's literally a strange time. I mean, obviously the whole lockdown has been, it's a terrible time that we're all in. I think a lot of people are trying to make the most of it. And it just happens to be that we received the funding. So the Peartree Wellbeing Project received their funding from the council during the lockdown phase. So it's almost come at a time where it's nice because we were able to try this. So it's very new. We never ever had planned on doing sort of live sessions on Zoom, but because of the lockdown situation and because children aren't out at the minute or babies and toddlers aren't in halls doing these sessions in an interactive way. So they thought, well, let's try this. And so this Friday, so we'll be running 5 free sessions from this Friday once a week. Whether or not those who register do all 5, do 1, do 2, it's entirely up to them. But they do register with us. So, I mean, safeguarding is really important. So we need to make sure we've got correct people that have registered that will be joining us on that session, because we will be interacting how you and me are interacting. Obviously not with the rhymes and the shakers and things, but yeah, it's something that's been in the pipeline for a few years. And obviously now I was in a position where I was able to help. So it's sort of come in everything's worked out time-wise nicely for me and for the project. And I myself am a part of Sing and Play with Jay. So I'm self-employed. We've now collaborated to do these 5 sessions for the community. And again, with Zoom, initially it was only meant to be based in the Welwyn Garden City area and the Hatfield areas. but with Zoom the way it is, I mean, somebody in Australia, for example, could really join if they wanted to. It might be midnight there or something, but if somebody, you know, from other parts of England wanted to join in, they could. So we've opened it out now to a bigger audience, but you know, when it does come, and if we continue to receive the funding, that once the lockdown phase is over, it will be an actual, you know, children sitting in front of me, which you can't beat an actual sitting with children and interacting with them that way. So this is second best, I'd say, doing it via Zoom. We're trying to be as interactive rather than them just watching something and the parent expecting to rhyme with them. So, you know, if a mum's not getting it right, I can say, no, do it this way, or dad. So it isn't just for mums, it's parents, guardians that may be looking after the children while the parents are at work, grandparents. So any guardians that have little toddlers, newborn babies. Our youngest is 3 weeks old. So that's the youngest person that's registered with us so far. So that'll be amazing. So you will get a varied age range. But yeah, no, super excited. It's been in the pipeline, as I said, now for a few years. And this Friday, it's the first session. So I'm really, butterflies, but excitement. So it's good.
Sounds really exciting. And honestly, thanks to Zoom, I think the popularity of Zoom has definitely gone up since the pandemic has been declared, because people can't go outside as much or freely go out where there's a big gathering. So Zoom really, really works well. If you want to do it remote, and as you mentioned before, it was open to the Welland and the Hatfield, but now it's open to more people, because obviously Zoom allows you to just access it from wherever you are. Like even now we're conducting the interview, you're doing it from the comfort of your home, I'm doing it from the comfort of my home, and it just works so well.
Technology is amazing.
Thank God for technology. So the online sessions, am I correct to think that it will be available to be registered on a first come first serve basis? It will be going to.
I mean, I would love to say that we'll be inundated with 50 plus members, and of course with Zoom you do have, you know, you're only allowed a maximum of certain people. I mean, if for any reason, it would be lovely if for any reason we did go over 50, maybe that we would have to put them in for the second session, which is why we've mentioned the first come first basis. So as soon as the spaces are filled, those adults and children will be entitled to join that session. I mean, I can't imagine it going over 50. It would be fantastic if it does. And if it does, we can then maybe put them onto a second session. It could be that we might even go to 2 sessions a week. That might be further on the line, but it really depends on the demand. We would love to cater for as many people in their homes as possible. Again, because it's free, it's something that we want to get out there for as many people that feel cooped up, especially new mums. I think is really important, the ones that can't interact as much. So I think that's really important for them to be out there and sharing this interactive thing as well. So yeah, it's kind of on a first come first serve basis. I really can't imagine it being more than 50 at the minute. So hopefully we'll get everybody that joins for the first session will be there for the first session. So it's kind of like the reason we said first come first basis is as soon as they're registered, we're on. And again, if it happens to go over 50, which I can't imagine, but we will then have to put them on the second session, as you said. So we'll have to do it that way.
Fantastic. And just to confirm, it's, again, as you mentioned, free, and the fact that it's free is definitely very, very appealing. And it's open to all families with young children.
Yeah. Perfect. I mean, the other thing at the minute is with the school closures and now being summer holidays, when you have a session like this running at home, I wouldn't expect if you have a 4 or a 5 or a 6-year-old to be put into another room so they're away from it. Everyone can join in. This is not something that always just for babies and toddlers. So if you have a 4-year-old in the background and I happen to see that there's slightly older children, I will do older rhymes. So I'll do the head, shoulders, knees and toes, something that's a little bit more interactive for them as well, not just for the babies. I'm sure the little, you know, the few months old won't mind if we have ones for the older ones. And so it's nice for everyone, you know. I don't think we'll get any of the teenagers involved if there are any teenagers at home. But any older children, you know, the toddlers, 4 to 5, some of them like to sit with their baby brothers and sisters and interact, which is really special. So if they want to do that and parents wanted to join the elder child to join in with the rhyme, you can't get it better than that. So, you know, I always recommend having the older child join in if they can. So it's be for everybody, the whole family.
Fantastic. And how long have you been working with children?
Besides having any of my family members watching now will completely understand this. If you have a family gathering and there's a 50 adults on one side, there will be Jay that will be with the children, either entertaining or singing or doing something online. So I am the family entertainer when it comes to children. So besides the family experience, I have been working for the last 8 to 10 years around Hertfordshire rhyming. So it's only this year, again, weirdly, just before lockdown, that I started my own Sing and Play with Jay. So it became something that I started, but once lockdown happened, it kind of went a bit silent. And then, you know, Kumiko, our fantastic project manager for wellbeing. Hi, Kumiko, if you're listening. So if she's listening now, she was the one that, again, came and approached me again, and it was just, the timing was just perfect. So I was able to join in this time. So yeah, look, I think when it comes to rhyming with children, and I'm not saying this because I'm not going to, it's either something you have or you don't. So you could sit there and rhyme and sing to children and be like, and you won't really get much. If you can kind of become a child at heart and start singing with them and interacting with them the way they would, I think that really, that appeals. And also, I think what's really important is, although people are probably thinking this is for babies and this is for toddlers, I think it's really important to get the adults interacting. So I will crack the odd joke with the adults and say, oh, hi, you know, this is an example. But if I say I have, I don't know, a Sarah or a Joe or somebody there, I'll be like, Joe, you're looking fantastic today, not as bad as I'm looking. So it's about getting them involved as much as the children. So I know a lot of people will assume this is for children, but it's for the adult well-being as well. So mental well-being at the minute is really important. And again, for those newborn babies and those mums at home during this time, I can't imagine what it was like during lockdown to have a newborn. I myself, 8 years ago, suffered with slight postnatal, so I know exactly what it's like. And you kind of get stuck in your bubble a bit, and you don't always come out of that bubble. And it's entirely up to the mother or the father themselves. But for me, I didn't go out as much, and I stayed in my bubble. And it's only now that I've realized what it was that I had then, because I didn't know what I had. And I have in the past had a few mums approach me and say, you've helped me so much with the postnatal. And I think hearing that for the first time, when I did hear that, it was like nothing. It was like suddenly light bulbs started to click, and I was like, God, yes, this can help with those adults that do suffer with that, you know, the inclusion, where they don't have as many other mums who are friends. They haven't been going to classes and interacting with any other mums, which is something that I did actually. So I didn't have many mum friends in my first pregnancy, and I didn't have that interaction, and I was completely alone. Obviously with my second child, I knew the symptoms and what you had to do to not be that. So it is really important that you get to interact with other parents and other children. For the mental well-being, especially what we're going through now, there is nothing like it. And I think it's really important. So this initiative for me is just, for me, it's something so close to my heart. So I'm really, really looking forward to doing this with everyone. So yeah.
Well, that sounds like a really beautiful motive behind this, especially as well, because as mentioned, you know, even with people with young children as well, they're not going to school, and usually mums, while dropping their kids off to school, they do make friends as well with other mums as well. So now obviously this is also lacking because of the current climate. So to have a online interactive session with mums, dads, and their children, you kind of relive that moment again, but obviously like in a virtual way as well.
I mean, you know, we're all getting used to like these virtual hugs now.
Yes,
I think it is, there is nothing, as I said again, there is nothing better than being in front of children, watching their smiles and them giggle, and then hearing all these little things. So although it's not exactly that, I'm going to try to make it as much of that as possible. So, I mean, I have tried incorporating new rhymes that I've come up with, which, for example, has a butterfly flying, and then one will come through the screen and I will say, oh, is there a baby Joe there? Can you hold your butterfly? And then we're trying to get the parents to make these butterflies at home. Simple, just cutting out a little butterfly, so that when I look like I'm passing it through the screen, the parent will grab one and the child will be like, oh, where did this come from? So they're at that young age where things like this will start to go, wow, wow, wow. And that's what you have to capture. So for me, if I can, you know, get these little light bulbs, get these little eyes brightening up, that's what will make my day. So having that interactive session, coming up with these type of rhymes where the child actually feels that, how did that butterfly from Jay get to me? So it's all about that. So we're going to try to be as interactive. And I think it is. I mean, when you're meeting new people face to face, even if it's, you know, virtually or in person, you are new to them and they won't recognize you. So I think it's nice to have the 5 sessions, because if a group of parents come to each and every one, the child, the parents, they start to get to know each other. They may be even from the same area, become friends and meet up outside. You know, there's a lot that you can offer with these sessions. And again, if say, you know, a family is at all 5, the child will get to know me. Of course, they will get to know Ryan, more importantly. So it is something for me, it is for children at a young age. To have repetition is really important. So to be familiar with a smiley, same face is really important, rather than a stranger every week, somebody different coming in every week. So that's why we decided on 5 sessions, to give them a nice feel of what the sessions were actually about, rather than like the one-off and then never doing it again. So yeah, so it's important that we did that.
Great. And also, after this 5 sessions are over, what are your plans in the future? Are you planning to take it onto other platforms? Because at the moment, you're doing it via Zoom. And due to the current situation, we don't know how long it will be until we have to stay virtual. Are you planning to take it into like other platforms, like maybe on other social media, YouTube maybe?
I mean, currently, if anybody is interested, we do have a Peartree Babies and Mums Rhyme Time YouTube page, which has a few of my clips. So if anybody's thinking, what is she talking about with the butterflies? If you go onto our Facebook page, you will also see a YouTube. So whether or you're on YouTube or Facebook, if you just type in Peartree Babies Rhyme Time, something will pop up. If you don't recognize this face, you'll recognize this face. And he's there, and we've had a few little clips that we've made to get people familiar with who I am and who Ryan is. So yeah, there is already a bit of a YouTube thing going. I have to say, my 8-year-old was so excited that her mum was on YouTube that you know, that made her day. She's, you know, so it's, you know, there's a lot of children that watch sort of children activities and things on there. So it was nice to be on there. I was a little bit like, ooh. So if anybody wanted to see the little clip about how to make the butterflies and what that rhyme was, we have attached a few things, you know, that you can see. But I mean, I'm sure parents at home know how to make a little flying butterfly. You can colour it in with the children. It was just a little activity to do at home, so that they can also join in and do something at home and then join in with the session as well. So yeah, so if anybody's listening and they are interested in that, there is a YouTube page and the Facebook page for Peartree Mums Babies Rhyme Time, so that they could see that. I mean, looking into the future, my dream job would always be singing with Ryan. I don't know if Ryan feels the same way, but I don't think this would be my dream job if anybody knows me. So it's something that, yeah, in person, you know, if we continue to receive the funding, the Peartree project will continue. If it's something that doesn't continue, sing and play with Jay will always be around. So it's something that I will then have to look into. If Peartree doesn't continue, I will sort of, yeah, I mean, you know, so if anybody who is joining the Peartree that decides that they do like Jay, it would continue, and I would go with other means. But I cannot wait till the day that I can be in either a hall or some sort of an environment where the children are sitting in front of me with their parents, guardians, grandparents, and I'm interacting with them that way. That would be my dream. So I'm looking forward to hopefully that day will come soon.
Oh, thank you very much. And I have to admit, it was very, very lovely to hear from you and about this project, yeah. Peartree Babies, a Mum and Rhyme Time. And I just want to say to the viewers, if you have enjoyed this video, do get in touch with Jay and the Peartree Babies Rhyme Time. And Jay, I just want to wish you all the very best.
Thank you, Naz. Thank you so much for having me. This has been super exciting. So yeah, thank you very much for helping promote us. You've been amazing as well. Thank you. And on behalf of Kamiko as well, I'm sure Kamiko will love to say thank you if she was here in person. But she had a few technical issues. Yeah, she had a few technical issues, but so she said a very big thank you from her and on behalf of Peartree Wellbeing Mums Project and Welland and Hatfield Borough Council for the funding. So thank you everybody.
Thank you very much. And a big bye and a thank you to Ryan the Lion as well.
Thank you. Yes, Ryan. Bye.